Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ways Slaby. We're starting tonight with the headlines. Trump administration announced that they will no longer recognize Israeli settlements as against international law. And tonight we're also shedding light on soul ban from Gaza. Before we start tonight, let's move to Bassam for the briefing news.
Thank you, Uwais. Tension was high throughout the Israeli prisons this morning following the announcement that Palestinian prisoner Sami Abu Diak, who was suffering from cancer, has died, according to the Palestinian Authorities Prisoners Affairs Commission. Dozens of pro-Palestinian activists today took to the streets in Chicago in protest of the latest U.S. declaration which recognized the legitimacy of the illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. The Secretary General of the PLO Executive Committee, Saeb Erekat, refuted Israeli claims that the recent closure of the Palestinian media offices in Jerusalem was in line with the 1993 agreement between the PLO and Israel. Extremist Israeli settlers spray-painted racist graffiti and slashed tires of several vehicles in the village of Jebba, southwest of the occupied West Bank city of Beit Lahem, according to security sources. Israeli forces detained 23 Palestinians, including 3 children from occupied Jerusalem in the West Bank, said the Palestinian Prisoner Society. It said Israeli police raided in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Isawiya in the dead of the night, breaking into homes and detaining at least 10 Palestinians, including a child. Over the last several months, Isawiya, a Palestinian village, some 20,000 people, has been facing a rise in police harassments and raids that have disrupted daily life in the neighborhood.
Bassam has joined me in the studio. Bassam, I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you, Uwais. And I've heard the latest news this week is that Mike Pompeo, Secretary of the State, announced that the Trump administration no longer settles with, the illegal settlements of Israel are no longer illegal.
Yeah, I've
How
seen
can that be?
And the international community response was really positive. Since they are overwhelmingly consider the settlements as illegal, which is completely the opposite from Trump administration. Now, the idea here, or the point here, is that the Trump administration step is some sort of they are bringing the peace process happening in the area.
But that causes a wide conflict announcing this statement because it's an international law. And how could you put all the laws aside, international laws, maybe some things I don't know of, but how could you put something so important aside and announce something out of your top of the head?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. The international law is coming, lots of complications are coming to it. Lots of things are under questioning. But Canada, on the other hand, I've heard that they do not agree with this statement. And Justin Trudeau himself is supporting Palestine on certain statements.
Yeah, I think also the European Union on the same side with Canada. But let's see this video for more details.
there's no doubt in my mind that the people of the world will be taking future acts against this statement, because if corruption is put into place in this specific century, the world will go into pieces. And I believe that lots of countries now, at this time, the time we're speaking at this moment, people are taking acts. And
Hopefully.
yes, like I don't know what much further to say about this statement, but it's all up to we have to put trust in our upper ups.
Also into international community.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Palestine, there's also in Gaza Soul Band. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of this band that also out of nowhere, out of the unexpected, it just launched out of Gaza. And
Exactly.
like you mentioned, it's called Soul.
Uh-huh.
And this band basically expresses the Palestinian heritage through their music, despite the hard times they are going through even
exactly.
at this moment.
That was what I was gonna talk about. Like, I think this band is inspiration for other musicians, even international musicians, since, like, despite all the circumstances, like, I think it would be so hard to find like festival where they can play, or even sponsors, or even sometimes a studio could be a luxury.
It is, but that's what you call innovation. Like, you don't wait for the opportunity to come to you, because it might never come. It's your job to make your own opportunity. And the Soul Band has, like, with all its potential, it's becoming worldwide, and people are giving a shout out to it all across the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, and it's giving, like, it's getting good recognition.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Let's take a look at this video for more details.
على نار الشوق أنا حستنى وأصبر قلبي وأتمنى على نار الشوق أنا حستنى وأصبر قلبي وأتمنى على بال ما تجيني على بال ما تجيني رجعين يا هوى على نار الهوى على دار الهوى رجعين.
Well, as soon as I got home, I'm pretty sure I am going to follow Soul on all of social media, and I'm going to give it my full support from all over. And there's something on my mind that's been going on. It's just the campaign that's going against violence.
Yeah,
And
it was established, like, specifically against the violence against women.
Yes, it's like it's violence, but then right now the focus is the violence against women, because things have been going on lately, and it's going on for 50 years now, or over, maybe more. And a certain act has to come to
Exactly.
an interest.
And I think one positive thing about this advantage that they're actually studying and gathering more information, like, to recognize the problem and to recognize the factors. And I think, like, this would make it even stronger, because the more you know about the problem, the more you will be able
Exactly.
to solve
What
it.
you're saying is awareness is a primary factor to solve a problem. Be
Exactly.
part of the solution, not the problem. And as I can freely say, celebrities have been a major
Part
act.
of that
Have
campaign.
Public figures, soccer players, or let's say sports, and it's pretty. The campaign is going to be going on for a while now, and I hope it gives another attention
and, like,
to the world.
in this campaign, we're talking about very basics. We're talking about, like, education opportunities, health opportunities, and even I don't know if they're covering that or not, but like, there's a very important like, aspect to cover is violence at home, like domestic violence against women. There has been so many cases lately, like in Jordan and even here in Palestine. For more information, let's take a look at this video, and we will be right back. London Underground has defended an attack on a Jewish family. Have you watched the video?
I watched
It
this
was-
viral video
yeah.
that went on. It was in London. It was an underground train station. And there was this strange man that was calling the Jewish family anti-Semitic names.
Yeah.
And the language is unacceptable no matter what, I agree. And what's interesting is that the woman, the Muslim woman, actually defended that family.
Yeah, and
despite
also-
the conflicts going on, but she put everything aside and she knows her goals in terms of she's a very well-educated woman in my opinion because she can differentiate between humanity and religion and other sorts of categories.
I mean, what's really sad, like the attacker himself even criticized this woman for wearing trousers because, you know, she's a Muslim, and he even like threatened other, I think, passengers who were in the train, and they were walking close to him. And like, I think like attacking people like for their beliefs, for what they might look like.
Well, that's because the people who attack, in my opinion, are uneducated, and they're called bullies. And bullies have no limits in what extent they can go through or get to, because as soon as they start attacking and they feel like someone's defending, they want to bring up something. They want to attack the person that's defending.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on. No stop. The proper way to solve this is through awareness. And there was a similar situation where it happened in Sydney, Australia.
Australia, yeah, I remember that.
And
I remember watching that.
there was this woman that was pregnant with her 9th month, and she was attacked once again just because she's a Muslim.
Exactly, for wearing a hijab. And I want to just mention that like the video on the London Underground was like posted on Twitter by like Chris Atkin. Like I'm not really sure about the name.
Okay.
Okay, so like I mean, it is really. I mean, look what social media has done to us, and how like these people, even though like. Making these small contributions in like delivering or making people safe.
And let's see some further details and have a good image in our minds in this footage.
And know that I have loved you. You see? You get out of my face, I will slap you right in your nose, man. Back up from me. I'm not no Christian pastor. Back the fuck up from me, bro. But what are you gonna do? Well then fuck off. Simple as that. Listen, these people are imposters trying to claim our heritage and they're trying to tell me that it's cool. And they fund the slave trade, and that's okay. Do you care about your people? Do you care about your... And why are you wearing trousers, man? You should be wearing trousers, man. So you know you don't have to follow your own shit, man. It's talkers. No, it's not my opinion. It's God's word. God's word. Yeah, God's word.
That was a very scary experience, even like especially for the kids. So Bassam, I want to ask you now about like Badrul Huda Khan you've interviewed this week.
Well, Badrul Huda, a small introduction about him, he's an author and an educator. And he's also, he's one of the first people, or not the first people, one of the people that have the highest potential on World Wide Web. And he created the system of e-learning.
Yeah.
And he considers electronic learning an efficient way to gain some knowledge, because not everywhere or every time you because of the jobs and like you have limited amount of time in 24 hours you just need to make time for sleep. Not every time can you find the time to read and write and learn. And once he created this vehicle, we'll get in further details very soon, but he considers knowledge a donation.
And also like what I want to talk about is like sometimes the circumstances or even the money is some kind of an obstacle for learning. I also found on the internet, I don't know if you ever heard of it before, but the University of People, where it is tuition free and you can read it at home,
university. Yes,
wherever you are, whoever you are. Especially, I think this university has made a huge contribution for those people without passport or citizenships, because you know when you want to study in university, you have to have an ID.
That's one way of looking at it. Yes, there's this university is very efficient for some sort of people, and it is very I'm glad we have something like this in this century, and I hope it keeps developing. For more details, we are going to see this private interview with Badrul Huda Khan. Once again, we are back with another interesting topic to talk about today, which is knowledge through technology. And we'll be learning through technology with a special guest for today. And as well as we know, technology is a very powerful tool for transformation, especially for advancement of the relationship between an educator and the student. As today from the NBC studios, we have Abdul Huda Khan. How are you today?
I'm very good.
How about you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Well, my name is Badrul Huda Khan. I originally from Bangladesh, came to United States in 1981, did my undergraduate degree in chemistry, got my doctorate in instructional system technology, and became the professor at the University of Texas. And later on, I served as a founding program director and the professor at the George Washington University, Washington, D.C. And I write books.
You're an author.
Author, and especially in the field of e-learning.
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 Okay. And what brings you to Palestine so far?
Well, so alhamdulillah, I'm so happy that I'm in Palestine, and because some scholars here, they use my model, which is actually Khan's e-learning framework.
Maybe from the Najah University?
Najah University, for example, the Dean of Education, Dr. Saida Alfoune, she uses it, and she used my model, modified it for Palestinian universities to create e-learning center and also developing e-learning programs. So I'm very happy when I was asked to come and visit
And give a small...
workshops and keynotes, and I'm happy to be
But
here.
I'm curious, why do you focus on e-learning? What brought your potential to this topic?
Well, you see, E means electronic,
Exactly.
and learning, that we know, the learning. So E is a tool. Could be radio, television, computer, laptop, and your smartphone. These are all E.
Yep.
And learning is something that we know how to learn. So we use the E technologies to convey our messages for learning. That's we call e-learning. And you know, the whole world, I have a television show called Digital World for the Fox 5 Plus in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
It's named after me, the Khan's Digital World. So we are in the digital world. So we have so many tools, technology tools. Why couldn't we use it for learning?
Like, tell me the extent of your dream for e-learning. Where does it put the students, the people that are learning through e-learning? Like, what is your goal?
Well, it's not my goal, it's the goal of a student should be, because we are in a global economy.
Oh, yes?
We are the knowledge worker. Someone from Nablus here in Palestine and West Bank can be a knowledge worker. He or she can learn using technology. She can take a course from Canadian University or US University or University in Asia. So she or he gathers the knowledge. Now, he or she becomes a knowledge worker in the digital world. Students with knowledge in e-learning learn and gain their degrees in their subjects of their choice.
So it's flexibility.
Flexibility, and also they can work as a knowledge worker remotely. The whole world is one global village.
So it's like, instead of looking at the world as a very big, hard place to communicate in, e-learning brings you the flexibility to bring, to make the world a smaller place.
Small, but it gives you the flexibility to learn on your own pace, own time, anywhere from
That's
any
magnificent.
place.
That's magnificent, because people sometimes don't have the time to go take a workshop because of, let's say, for a job or family reasons or personal reasons. So they just choose a slight time, maybe before we sleep. Maybe we learn before we can go to sleep. That's magnificent.
And one good thing is that after you're learning through e-learning method and your own flexible schedule, later on you can even work flexible way.
And about you said you were an author. Tell me about yourself as an author. What did you write? And
Well, I'm an academic author, you know. First, I wrote the book, actually edited the book, which is called Web-Based Instruction. It is 1996 publication, 1996, And because of that, I have the credit of being first introducing the word web-based instruction in the world. And later on, I have written many other books in web-based instruction, web-based training, flexible learning, and I have gained the recognition as the founder of modern e-learning by the NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries, and the symposium they awarded that. So with that in mind, I just have a new book came out. It's got 2 awards by AECT, Association for Education and Communication Technology Association, awarded this book by 2 divisions as the outstanding book. So this is based on my e-learning framework.
That's amazing.
This is Khan's e-learning framework. So by doing this, you know, once you get a foundation how to create meaningful learning using e-technologies, then you keep writing and writing. And I am very happy that in Palestine universities, especially in Al-Nazar, professors are familiar with this framework and they are creating meaningful learning for students.
You know, you have a competition. Like your main competition is like doing the opposite of what you're trying to prove, which is, you know, media and technology is also developing. And the youth, instead of using e-learning or learning topics about e-learning, about learning, they use media for wasting time.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a big
in
competition
fact,
for you.
In fact, today, when I was giving a talk, someone asked me, can be social media distraction to e-learning? I said, it can be, but we need to look into social media, why students or young people are too much into social media. Maybe there's some magic to it. So why couldn't we borrow this magic and use it in our technology, use it in learning?
100%.
And they would be attracted to e-learning. And alhamdulillah, e-learning is the way to go because it's never going to go away as long as you have electronic devices. Using it for learning, e-learning is going to stay forever.
Well said, well said. And in Bangladesh, are you working on any projects?
Well, since I have working on e-learning and my book has already been translated into 23 languages.
Wow.
The Arabic one came from Damascus, Syria, 2005. Now they are doing the second edition from Kuwait and Iraq combination, they're doing it. So Bangladesh government also, the Prime Minister office, you know, translated my book in Bangla, Bengali language. So people ask me, e-learning is good, but how about the marginalized people? How about the poor people? How about the rural people? Can they participate in e-learning? I said, why not? So I thought this way. So I started something called Gyan Bahon. Gyan means
Gyan Bahon.
Gyan Bahon, very good. Knowledge career, or in Arabic, it's called Siyaratul Malamut.
سيارة المعلومات.
Siyarat al-Malumat. So it is in the small one has the Siyarat.
So it's an information vehicle.
Information knowledge vehicle.
And I see that vehicle right there.
Yes.
It's a vehicle that has technology. And what's inside?
Yeah, you see in the vehicle you have the solar panel. Solar panel generates electricity and energy because there's a television big monitor inside.
Very renewable
And there
energy,
are 12 to 14 people can sit, and inside there is this monitor, they can watch e-learning, you see.
So as you move and move on from one place to another, there's a short documentary film or anything?
Something lifelong learning skills. For example, at home I cook. So most of the time lentils and milk, when I forget and it overflows, my wife say, well, you can put a wooden spoon on the top of it, it will not overflow.
Okay.
That's the knowledge. So she saw it somewhere in Facebook, you know. So that knowledge.
So basic life skills.
Life skill.
Yes.
So when people are riding on this van, and they can ask the driver that, do you have a video that I look for a job? He will search for it and they will display on the monitor, 3 minutes video. And we can have a display overhead, you know, this projector. If you take it to the village, many people can see it. These are all educational, lifelong competency-based video, they see it, they can practice.
So you're
themselves.
literally looking at the future where you want everyone to gain knowledge wherever they go.
Yeah.
Moving, standing, sleeping.
And also, yes, also this vehicle is donated by the donations from local people. Some good local people, they wanted to donate, in Arabic, we have the words Sadqa Jariya, which is like
Sadaqah Jariyah.
Sadqa Jariya means you donate for good cause.
Yep.
So they're donating money and we are sharing knowledge for people.
Knowledge is a donation.
Knowledge, also, we are providing knowledge, they are providing money to build it. And we recognize their name. Because of you, all their photos, this vehicle has been possible. And then inside we show the knowledge we gather from, not necessarily from the professors, knowledge we gain from normal people. Then others can learn from it. And we use the e-learning, see what happens. Inside is octagon, you see. That is my model. So every video that we create, they are conform to these octagonal dimensions. And this becomes, whatever I show you, are e-learning snippets, small videos based on that model. So it has objectives, it has activities, and one can go home do it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Khan, and I really appreciate you for educating us on this topic. I feel like it's very well needed, and the entire world should put their hands together for this to make it develop and make it happen and make everyone more aware of basic life skills that we are actually missing. So, where can we find you?
Well, we have a website which is called Gyan Bahon.
So you have gyanbahan.com, and this is Bassam Blahed, everybody. This is an NBC Journal. Follow NN.ps or NBC Journal on Facebook. See you next episode. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our episode for today on NBC Journal, and as we've noticed, Lana, our third piece of the puzzle, is not with us. I hope she has a fast recovery, and any last words, Awais?
Well, we're just hope that she's fine right now. And for more information, don't forget to visit our Facebook page, NBC Journal. This was it for this week, and see you next Tuesday.